You're staring at the schedule, the color-coded perfection you meticulously created at 1 a.m. Every box is ticked, every email sent, every commitment honored. But you feel nothing, maybe less than nothing. You feel the heavy, familiar ache in your chest. You told yourself, if I just try harder, if I just plan better, I will finally feel okay. You've been trying so hard for so long that your effort has become a second skin, a suit of armor against the world. You move through your 20s or 30s as a high-functioning machine, admired by everyone, understood by no one. The irony is that all this effort, all this mental exertion, all this overthinking, it's not a path to safety. It's a very sophisticated trap. It's the beautiful, silent rain falling outside your window, only you're too busy analyzing the chemical composition of the water to notice its quiet grace. Pause for a second. Notice the feeling that just stirred within you, the moment you realized, my exhaustion isn't from the world, it's from the war inside my own head. The truth is, you don't need to try harder. You need to stop trying so hard. The core idea. The complex life you've built, the endless lists, the mental rehearsals for every conversation, the fear of making the wrong choice, it's driven by a single, quiet lie that if you can control everything, you can stop feeling vulnerable. But control is an illusion built from tension. And overthinking is simply the brain's desperate attempt to solve an emotional problem with a logical tool. It's using a calculator to mend a broken heart. This isn't a video about productivity, it's about emotional efficiency. We're going to gently dismantle the structures you built to keep yourself safe and show you how much simpler and how much richer life becomes when you allow yourself to surrender the need for perfect effort. The effort paradox suggests that when you stop striving, the things you truly care about begin to flow. Chapter 1. The wound, the exhaustion of the checklist life. You're constantly trying to outrun the feeling of not enough. So you build the perfect shield, the checklist life. She had ticked every box. The promotion accepted, the engagement party RSVP'd, the perfect skincare routine mapped out. Yet the ache after the win felt larger than the win itself. She was perpetually chasing the feeling of peace, believing it lived just one more accomplishment away. But that ache is a wound. It's the realization that you've been using your energy to maintain an image of well-being, instead of tending to the actual source of the problem. Imagine trying to stop a leak in the roof by constantly mopping the floor. You're busy, you're productive, you might even look successful. But the leak, the underlying, unaddressed fear of judgment or rejection, keeps pouring in. Your mind, overwhelmed by the pressure to perform, turns to overthinking. It runs 40 scenarios for a simple text message. It debates the meaning of a coworker's vague email for an hour. It's not trying to sabotage you, it's trying to secure you. Your brain has been trained to believe that more thinking equals more control equals more safety. The critical question here is not how can I stop overthinking, but when was the last time you allowed a problem to exist without immediately trying to solve it? Chapter 2. The fix when you flee superglue on a cracked vase. When the fear gets too loud, we run toward the illusion of certainty. This is the stage of overcorrection. We glue ourselves together with routines and rules until the edges look neat, but the cracks still leak. We become obsessed with the 47-step morning routine, the perfect diet plan, the strict productivity blocks. We believe the external structure can compensate for the internal chaos. Psychologists note that overthinking is often the result of fear of not knowing and the need for future prediction. It's a defense mechanism, a mental check engine light flashing. But instead of taking the car to the mechanic, your inner self, you just put duct tape over the light. When you overthink, you are effectively demanding a guaranteed outcome from an unpredictable universe. You are demanding a risk-free life. but life isn't designed for risk-free living. Risk is simply the cost of living a full, open life. The biggest tragedy here is that the overthinker is often the person with the highest emotional intelligence, the one most capable of feeling deeply. But you've weaponized that sensitivity against yourself, using it to anticipate and deflect every potential pain point. You are treating your life like a complex equation to be solved, instead of a vast field to be explored. Chapter 3: The Breaking Point, the Overdue Surrender. The relentless pursuit of perfect effort always leads to a breaking point. It has to. It might not be a dramatic blow-up at work. For the high-functioning overthinker, it's usually much quieter, much more internal. The night she cried in the shower felt less like a failure and more like an overdue surrender. It was the moment the armor finally felt too heavy, not because the weight of the world increased, but because her internal capacity to carry other people's opinions and her own impossible standards finally reached zero. When we are on autopilot, we are performing someone else's definition of good. The breaking point is the moment your deepest self, your true self, says, "Enough, I'm done with the performance." It's the body saying what the mind couldn't articulate. Burnout isn't a badge of honor. It's a profound communication from your nervous system that your current operating system is unsustainable. You do not need to fix the world. You need to stop holding yourself solely responsible for the way other people feel, behave, or judge. You are not the glue holding the universe together. You are a human being designed for rest, vulnerability, and simple presence. Think of your own story. When was the last time a minor setback, a missed deadline, a slight comment, sent you spiraling? That spiral wasn't about the event. It was the moment the pressure cooker finally vented. Chapter 4: The Quiet Insight, the Neuroscience of Kindness. The quiet insight always comes after the noise. It is the realization that the opposite of overthinking isn't underthinking, it's gentle awareness. Your brain does not need more force, it needs different cues, tiny, repeated, kind ones. We often believe we can bully ourselves into productivity. But the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for executive function, planning, and stopping overthinking, performs optimally not under stress, but under a state of calm focus. When you are relentlessly hard on yourself, your brain releases cortisol. This shifts you into fight or flight, making clear, rational thinking physically impossible. Overthinking is a physiological stress response masquerading as responsibility. But when you show yourself compassion, saying, "This is hard, and it's okay to be overwhelmed," your brain releases oxytocin and serotonin. This creates a psychological state of safety. Only from this place of safety can you actually make a clear decision or solve a real problem. This is the core of the effort paradox. The less you demand of yourself, the less you strive for the 100% perfect, non-negotiable outcome, the more emotional energy you free up to achieve a sustainable 80%. Stop trying to control the world with your mind. Start simply observing your mind with compassion. That is the beginning of the end of overthinking. Chapter 5: The Practice of Gentle Action, the 20% Task. The transformation from overthinking to gentle awareness is built not on grand gestures, but on tiny, kind movements. We call this the practice of gentle action. Instead of "I will change everything," try, "Today, I will do one small thing that actually makes me feel less tired." The 20% task principle. In any given day, only 20% of your tasks truly move the needle toward your long-term vision or well-being. Overthinking convinces you that you must perfect the other 80% of busy work. The practice is to identify the single 20% task, the one email that unlocks a project, the 15-minute walk that clears your head, the one boundary phrase you actually use, and protect it fiercely. Allow the other 80% to be simply good enough. Actionable step. The boundary phrase. People-pleasing is a form of overthinking. You're preemptively managing the other person's emotions. To break this loop, you need simple, pre-written phrases that create space. Instead of a panicked, "I wish I could, but my calendar is crazy, I promise next time," try, "I can't take that on right now, but thank you for asking." No explanation, no apology. The clarity itself is the kindness to them and to yourself. Practicing these tiny experiments rewires the autopilot. They are not dramatic changes, they are the soft steps that build the spiral. If this spoke to you, please share it with someone who needs this gentle reminder. Hit that like button, share it with others, tap subscribe, and stick around for more. Chapter 6. The first light/rebirth, the rain is just rain. The complexity was never the world's problem. It was your complex system for dealing with the world. She opened the car door again, same rain, different breath, and noticed for the first time how the city didn't feel like an opponent. It was just a place, moving at its own pace. The overthinking brain treats every piece of data as a potential threat. The healed mind treats every piece of data as simply information. The rain on the windshield is just water. It does not carry the weight of your failure. The pause in the conversation is just silence. It does not carry the weight of your impending conflict. Your life isn't a tightrope walk across a canyon. It's an unfolding story where mistakes are simply plot points, not character flaws. You don't need to be strong enough to never fall. You just need to be gentle enough with yourself to stand up one more time. The simplicity you seek is not out there in a new routine. It is in here, in the quiet, profound act of saying, "I am enough in this moment and I will allow life to be simple." Got thoughts? I'd love to hear how you're choosing simplicity in the comments below. This week, let's choose less control and more presence. 1. The 5-minute brain dump. When overthinking hits, when you feel that urge to analyze every tiny detail, don't fight it. Sit down and write every frantic thought down for exactly 5 minutes, no filter. Then, put the notebook away and declare the thought process finished for the day. You've given the monkey mind its banana, now it can rest. 2. The simple swap. Identify one complex routine you created out of anxiety, e.g., spending 30 minutes scrolling social media to check on others. Swap it for a simple sensory anchor, 3 deep breaths or 3 minutes staring out a window without a task. This swaps a complex mental loop for a simple bodily one. 3. Embrace the bad enough. For one non-critical task this week, maybe doing the dishes, maybe replying to a friend's email, allow yourself to do it 80% effort. Not perfect, just done. Notice the world doesn't end. Notice the freedom that comes with letting go of the perfect outcome. These are not dramatic changes. They are the soft steps that build a new spiral, a spiral that leads you inward, not outward. Remember the cracked mug on the desk. It's still there. The cracks are visible. But today, the crack is not a defect to be glued over. It is simply a feature of its history. That is your life now. No more agonizing over every perceived flaw, every minor misstep. Your worth is not earned through your effort. It is inherent in your being. You do not have to be mighty to be worthy. Think about who you'll be when difficult people no longer have power over your peace, when the overthinking has subsided into gentle awareness. That person is waiting for you, and she is only a simple, gentle choice away. Tap subscribe if you're ready to choose the gentle path, and I'll see you in the next moment of calm.